All right, KNES 310, summer of 2020. This is your host, Brian Campbell, checking in with you guys. You have a midterm that is going to be this Thursday at, well, you have a window. It starts at 7:30 and it ends at 10. So you want to make sure that you are, that you start at 7:30. So this isn't like the first quiz where you have all weekend to kind of do it in the time window of your choosing. This is one where all hands on deck, scheduled time for the midterm. Now, I got a couple questions about a few things. One is review. 24/7 office hours. I'm available, you're available, let's go. So I'll be more than happy to review your test with you on FaceTime. We can look at the questions and make sure we're understanding each other. Most of the misses are just I, I don't want to say common sense because that's not fair. It's stuff that you might have learned through the bro science or through life that's just not factually correct. Uh, uh, so it's just some people call it tricky. I don't call it tricky. A trickiness is a function of your understanding. So I'll give you an example. The ankle joint. Okay, it's called the talocrural joint. I'm not even going to ask you that. But the point is that the ankle is a hinge joint and it does this. Okay, just like the wheels of your car can rotate two different ways. The wheels can't do this. The wheels can't. The wheels do this. Okay, so uh, well, you could be like, technically we can turn the wheels. All right, maybe that's a bad example. Um, but the point is that the way the ankle is articulated, it doesn't allow to turn to turn the wheels like this. You'd have a bad day. You'd have a dislocated ankle. Okay, so the way the mortise of the tibia and the fibula articulate with the talus, it only allows it to do this. Okay, again, you don't want it to do this. That'd be a bad day. You don't want it to do this. That would be a bad day. So the talocrural joint of the ankle moves two ways. That's plantar flexion and dorsiflexion. Inversion and eversion is actually underneath that. Submarine, subtalar, submarine under the water, subtalar joint under the talus, subtalar under the talus. So the rocking of your foot is actually a gliding motion of those tarsal bones. And then you have another transverse tarsal that's kind of more specialized for that frontal plane rotation. But the point is that growing up, you hear sprain your ankle, sprain your ankle, sprain your ankle. And it, I don't expect my mom and dad or my coach or, my little league coach to know what a subtalar and transverse tarsal joint is. So the subtalar and the ankle live in the same capsule. They live in the same area. They live in the same apartment complex, but they don't live in the same apartment. And so my point is that some of that verbiage is hard to get out of your head. It's almost like you're conditioned to think of the ankle as moving multiple ways. So that's things I emphasize in the videos, though, right? I even tell you guys, this is why this looks tricky. This is why this looks different than this, or this looks different than this, but it's the same thing. So pay attention in the videos when I emphasize those kind of things, all right? So, so, so I'll be happy to go over your test to see where we're kind of missing a few things or making some careless mistakes. I can work with improvement. I'm not a magician, but I can work with improvement. What I mean by that is if your first test you made a 40 or a 50, maybe you had a bad day. Maybe you're not used to me, but you can get used to me and you can do better. Maybe there are some things you need to do. Maybe some things I need to do. Maybe some things we need to do. But I can work with a 40 that improved to an 80. I can work with a 50 that improved to a 78, 82. You know what I can't work with? I can't work with consistencies of 40s and 50s. I can't work with that. I can work with improvement. Okay. Another question I get a lot is the midterm going to be stuff on the first test? not directly, but indirectly. So, in other words, I'm not going to literally ask you about uh, synarthrotic joints or amphiarthrotic joints or synchondrotic joints, but you're going to have to understand concepts of planes and axes. So, because I may say you're doing a pull up, what is the shoulders motion in the sagittal plane, right? So you need to know planes. Now, the midterm is going to have lower extremity stuff, but you can't exactly see my legs right now. That's why I'm using the upper body example. But you're going to have to understand planes and axes because that's going to help me identify certain things that I'm asking you, okay? So planes and axes is still going to be applied. I'm just not going to literally ask you what plane is this moving in? What axis is this moving in? But you're still going to have to understand those concepts. Nothing is wasted in my class. It's a staircase. Everything builds on everything else. So by the end of the semester, when we're taking our final, the first lecture you had built upon where you are at. That's how it works. Okay? So it builds upon itself. So to answer your question, yes and no. No, I'm not going to ask you specific questions on the first test, but yes, you're going to have to understand concepts from the first test. That makes sense? 24-hour office hours. If I'm up and I'm available, I'm going to make myself available. Even if I'm not available, I'll make myself available to clarify. I had a few students already, take advantage of that. Okay? Do not ask me what my cell phone number is. I put that on Moodle. I put that on your syllabus. It's out there. You have it. That'd be funny, huh? If you text me asking me what my number is. I guess that could happen. So I'm here to help you guys, but this is a pressure cook class. We do not have much time. So whatever track you're currently on, if it's a good track, great, keep it going. Always look to improve. If it's kind of a track where let's work on ways to deflect you in the upward trajectory. And if you started out going down, hey, there's no better solid foundation than rock bottom. So what I want you to imagine is there's rock bottom on the bottom of your screen. You boom, bounce off of that and rise up at a nice steep slope and get you passing this class, all right? So again, midterm is Thursday from 7:30 to 10. Open book, I don't care. You guys have it good, man. I don't do open book for my in-person classes. So starting in the fall, there's going to be no open book. You just have to know it. So the reason I do it is because I can't police it. I don't know. I can't watch you, or can I? Big brother. So the point is take advantage of the situation. If you're taking this online and I tell you open book, but don't let the open bookness, I just made up a word, it's okay. Don't let the open bookness of that exam schedule or concept lead you to be lazy. What I mean by that is, well, it's open book, so I have all the stuff out. I don't think that's the way I would approach this. Having an open book test should only be like you shouldn't have to go to your book or notes for every question. Like that should just be like, I know what it is, but let me just make sure, or I've narrowed it down between these two, let me make sure. But if you're just going into this test without watching the lectures, without contacting me to clarify concepts, and you're like, it's open book, I'll figure it out. Yahtzee. So study hard, work hard. I can work with improvements. Make sure your schedule's open. Make sure you have good Wi-Fi connection on Thursday, and hit me up if you need. All right, guys, be well.